filters that give me eyeshadow or like eyelashes
Or
and shit, so I don't have to put
eyelashes.
mascara on. Yeah, I'm like, okay, we'll
Yeah.
take it.
I like the bold glamour. I like the bold glamour filter on other people. I don't like it on me.
I look like a man.
It looks fake on me.
I just look like a dude. I just look like I'm gonna lose RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah. End of sentence. Sorry. I've had a fucked
Nope,
up day.
I can tell. What happened at Costco? Do you want to tell me what happened at Costco now that we're like face to face?
So we pull into a parking spot and like 5 seconds after we pull in, this fucking maniac comes out of nowhere and starts beating on V's window and like screaming at us that he was waiting for that spot and like how dare we, because he's on crutches. First of all, he didn't have any fucking crutches in his hand when he was screaming at us. Second of all, you're on crutches, but you got over to my window as fast as you did. Obviously you're not that fucking hurt. And
Yeah,
second and third of all, how the fuck is I supposed to know? How the fuck is I
yeah.
supposed to know you're waiting for this parking spot? I saw
Was
him.
he
I saw
anywhere?
him.
Yeah.
Nope. Nope. He was
Okay.
way down at the end of the aisle. And like the way that ours is set up, it's like a bunch of like really short ones, like right in a row
Mhm.
with each other. So like I'm like just going, doing the swerve in and out, up and down each aisle looking for a spot. I turn in and I see the reverse lights come on and he starts backing out. I'm like, hell yeah. It's just a quick in and out. We'll get a good parking spot, get in and out. This won't take but a second. So anyways, he comes and he bangs on the door and then he goes and then a car like 2 cars away starts pulling out. That's 2 cars closer to the door. So yay for
Yeah,
you.
like
You
he would have
get
had a better spot if he'd been in
yeah.
his fucking car.
So he got that spot. So like I'm just like really at first, and the other thing that I thought was interesting is first of all he did that in front of my kid. Second
Yeah,
of all, did it in front of his kid because his
yeah.
kid was the one driving the car.
Mm,
And then we get inside and it's like every corner we turn, like we come right, we like where we can see him. And he's in
mm.
one of those little fucking rascal things. I'm just like, I don't think you need to be in one of those because you sure hightailed it across the parking lot to scream at me and my kids real so fast. I don't think you need one of those.
I
But it's
fucking hate
like,
people.
yeah. And so we get out and I realize that they're behind us. We get out of the store.
Mhm.
I realize they're behind us. So I tell V, after we put everything in the car, get in the car, lock the door. So I
Yeah,
take the cart back to the little, the cart carousel. And on my way back to the car, because I'm walking towards our car, but I'm also walking towards them and their car, which is
yeah.
like two spots over. And I hear him, he and I kind of lock eyes and I don't say anything. And he goes, "What the fuck are you looking at, bitch?" Right in front of his daughter. And then
Wow.
it was V was shaken up. I'm still shaken up over it. And it's just like parking lots are that serious? We're at
Yeah,
that point where a parking spot is where what if I had had a gun?
yeah.
You
You,
know?
it was it a redneck? Was it a
He
white
didn't
trash
seem
can?
no,
No.
no. Seemed like just your normal everyday middle America entitled asshole,
So
you
yeah, he's
know?
probably a redneck. Trump supporter. Probably.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Trump
Yeah.
supporter or not, it doesn't give you, carte blanche just to,
Yes.
bang on someone's door.
Yeah.
And,
That's scary. Because you
yeah,
don't know what his intentions were had you guys gotten out or whatever, if he had come to assault you guys or anything either. And
right.
especially doing
Exactly.
on your kid's window. Like he should have seen like, oh shit, that is a child. Because
Mm-hmm.
sorry, V doesn't look they don't look like an adult. They look like
No,
a
they look
child.
like a 13, 14-year-old kid. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that was like first mistake. I would have been like, no, sir. Like I'd have been like, what if I had a fucking gun, motherfucker?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I might be having this conversation with you by the minute. if they
Yeah.
didn't charge by the minute if I'd had a gun. And then I was just like, and I'm not, if that woman that you knew way back in the day that would had that hair trigger, and all it took
Yeah.
was one person saying the wrong thing, and it didn't matter if it was the wrong day. Every day was the wrong day if you say the wrong thing to me.
Yeah.
When my kid's there, like, I have that obligation to set an example for them. So, and when I'm going to get into a physical altercation with some dude over a parking spot with my kid watching me, you know, and it's just like, so
Yeah.
I just kept my mouth shut and I kept alert, but I have never wanted to walk around with my phone on video so bad in my entire life. And
I
it
don't
was
blame you, just so you had that coverage for yourself.
just the proof
I
if
would have been
something
like,
happened.
I would be like, really, on my fucking kid's window? That would have been my problem. I think that would have been my issue, is that, like, you just made my child not only, like, feel unsafe, but you made my child, like, to their face at her unsafe, in her space, their space.
Yeah.
Not just, you know, banging on, it's a if you'd been on my window, my kid would have been freaked out. But you don't, V doesn't know if he's going to bust that window and come at them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's,
I know.
yeah, that's when I would have gone out the car and been like, yeah, like, put your fucking hands on me. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's because I would have perceived that as a threat to my, well, I'm sorry that you had that. Fucking
I appreciate
Costco.
it. Yeah. So
what did you get at Costco?
Very important stuff. We
What
got
was it?
shampoo and conditioner, and
Okay.
bagel bites, and bread and lunch meat, and, you know, just odds and ends, you know, like things that we just needed. You know, it wasn't a big thing. Oh, and taquitos. That was the big thing, was taquitos.
Well, I like, you need taquitos. So I was gonna be like, were you getting your did you get your bagel dog on? Were you getting your bagel dog on?
No. And that's how I knew that they were really shaken, because they're really good about, like, playing it straight.
Uh-oh.
No pun intended. But, like, because we were gonna hit the the snack bar, and I was like, do you still want to go to the snack bar? And they were like, I was like,
no.
All right, let's get the fuck out of here.
All right.
It sounds like a mega church. Riverside.
It probably is somewhere. You know, it probably is somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't talked to you like in 2 weeks because you've had life going on.
I know. Life's still going on, but at least today it's not going on this evening. This is what's going on this evening.
Yeah. You've had quite the week, my friend.
I have. I had quite a week. Next week's going to be quite a week too. But yeah, that's like I'm just like, can you just lie to us? Can you just lie to us? Like, I could really go for like a little white lie right now.
That are like, well, you told us 30 days and it's been 30 days. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, so, you told me 30 days and it has been 31. That's me.
30 and a half.
that's me when I'm on one and I'm picking up and they tell me, oh, it's not ready yet, and I'll wait. I mean, they're like, okay, it's gonna be 5 minutes. Okay, you told me 5 minutes. It's been 6.
Yeah. That's me too.
I had no patience for your ass. Get back there and make that food.
That's me when I'm ordering DoorDash and they're like, your food will be there between. I got mad at my DoorDasher the other day because I ordered Taco Bell. Okay. I ordered Taco Bell at 7:04. And it's Derby, so I can see wherever you can see where Dasher is. They were at KFC for 45 minutes. So they accepted my Taco Bell order and then went and had dinner and put that they were picking up my food. And I was like, the fuck? And then they get to Taco Bell. Well, of course, Taco Bell, like, they had to remake my fucking order because it'd been sitting there for 45. It wasn't Taco Bell. It was fucking another Mexican, like, fast food place here. So they thankfully remade her order because she had to go get her she had to get her fucking KFC on. And I was like, bitch, you are not on the way. And I'm like literally like refreshing it. I'm like, she's at fucking KFC. So I'm glad that she like accepted.
I would have sent her a message like, are you enjoying your potato wedges?
Yeah, I'd been like, how's your shitty fucking KFC?
How's your original how's your extra crispy
KFC? God.
Your brown gravy.
Who the fucking biscuits hard?
And their biscuits are not good. Their biscuits aren't like Church's biscuits.
I like their biscuits when they're fresh.
When they're
Like, they have to
fresh,
be
yeah.
fresh. Yeah, like, I'm not chipping a fucking tooth biting into the damn thing.
Mm-mm.
So,
Nope.
because
Nope.
I like a good home style. We'll see, like, churches is like 30, 45 minutes away from us. So
Ooh,
literally,
we've only
if
got
we went
two here.
yeah, and we have
Mm-hmm.
2 Popeyes here. One is in the hood, so you know that chicken's probably gonna be good. But I'm not going down there because I'm a white lady from Kansas. And
Mm-hmm.
then the other one, I'm not driving an hour basically round trip for chicken. I'm not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So we rarely get, and we don't get KFC because it's not good here. It's like you can
I
tell
know.
old white people that just are used to salting everything, they think that's good, and it's not.
No. Well, I don't know if I ever told you about why I don't eat KFC. And it's because the worst stomach virus that I ever had started
Oh,
with the last meal that I had before I got sick was KFC.
oh,
So
and you yak
whenever
it
I
up.
would, so for the next 4 days, every time I threw up, it smelled and tasted like
Mm.
KFC. And every time I went to go take a shit and had the Hershey squirts, it smelled like KFC. And I'm talking like I couldn't even drink water. I was just,
Mm,
as soon as I drank water, it was like, just like projectile. It was horrible.
mm.
And of course, I was the last one in the house to get it, so I got the real good strong
You got
one.
everybody's KFC stink too, basically. Your house
Yep.
probably smelled like shitty vomit KFC.
Yep. And I got to
Mm-mm.
take care of all of them. And then who took care of me when I was sick? Me. That's who.
Nobody.
That's who. No, me.
Nobody. I mean,
What?
that's why I don't like nacho cheese Doritos because I cannot tell you how many times my children have thrown up nacho cheese Doritos.
Mm,
So I can't, they're ruined for me. Like, I can't eat them.
yeah,
And it's almost the
I feel
same. Like,
that.
we figured out because McDonald's kids meals, you can get a soda or you can get like milk or chocolate milk. So Micah,
Mm-hmm.
he would get chocolate milk. So, well, they don't tell you that that chocolate milk that you get in your kids' Happy Meal is not the kind that stays refrigerated. Like, it's that kind that you can buy like in bulk at Sam's. You know what I'm talking about? That
Mm-hmm.
shit has always made my kid yak. And
Like
weird as
Yoo-hoo on
not,
the shelf.
oh, and it's literally like there's nothing worse than French fry and chocolate milk vomit. It's
Mm.
disgusting. And it's that smell that you
Mm-mm.
cannot get out of your nose.
Yeah,
It's
I feel that.
disgusting. So yeah. I was like, you're not getting that fucking milk shit anymore. You're not. And Rylan used to yak all the time, and it was because I would get her the ones from fucking Starbucks that are like the same thing. And now here I am like 10 years later putting fucking two and two together of that's why she's so fucking puke
Oh,
all the goddamn time.
honest kids. Honestly, honest kids is not good.
Yeah. It was and I don't think it was honest. It was like
Go
the
away.
fucking red carton. You know what I'm talking about? It's like red organic
Oh, yeah,
bullshit.
yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Got the
It
little
was not.
cartoon cow on it.
Yeah. Because
Yep.
we used to get them at Sam's in bulk because we're like, oh, she likes these. I'm an idiot.
This
I
this
like
will
be
be a good idea.
buying that in fucking Red Bull. What
Ugh.
do you get at Sam's? Chocolate milk for my kid and fucking Red Bull. Back when I drank Red Bull, but I don't drink Red Bull anymore. So
No, I haven't had an energy drink in July. It'll be 2 years.
really?
Yeah, it started doing weird things to my heart.
Oh, you like making it palpitate and shit? Yeah, I'm sure.
Yep.
I haven't
I was
had the
well
last
when
time
I
I
was
had
working
one.
at. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Well, when
I'll
I was
tell mine
working
after.
at the dispensary, we were so busy all the time. You're making tips, and you don't want to be in a good mood, and up and bubbly and all that. I was drinking 2 of those like big monsters a day.
Oh,
So,
yeah, your shit's gonna
hmm
explode one day. Yeah,
yeah.
that's not
So
good.
I had to quit. But I also work in a very different environment now. Like it's super chill.
Yeah.
Like I can go in there half asleep and do like a pretty okay job.
Okay. A meets expectations only.
Some days be like that.
It'd be like that.
Tomorrow's going
The
to be
last
a
time I had
meets
it,
expectations only day.
what's old Eric up to? What's he doing over there?
He's squinting at my phone screen. We have Grubhub on the way.
What'd you order?
McDonald's.
Yummy. That's what my kids had
Yeah.
for lunch today.
Yeah. I just, and yeah, and I went to Costco. Like, we have stuff. I went to the grocery store, but I'm just like, you know what? I don't give a fuck right now. That
No,
motherfucker took, and then Mr. Bang 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 on my window, he took everything I got for today. And except for
but
what I'm
that's
giving to you right
okay.
now.
Yeah, at least I get I get what's left of you for the day.
You
So
get the crumbs. I'm just like, here, this is
just
all
scoop
I
it out of the
have.
bottom of the
This
jar.
like,
Well,
like
hopefully I can spend the next however much time like making your day better. Then like
I have
dance,
absolutely no
monkey
doubt that
dance,
you will.
dance, monkey dance.
Dance monkey, dance monkey. Oh.
Micah was like, "How long are you gonna record for? Is it gonna be like an hour?" And I was
Forever.
like, "I don't." I was like, "It's as long as we fucking want it to," because I kicked him out of my room again so he could record. He's like, "Bitch again." So he'll
Magical
be
Micah.
sliding by. Yeah, Magic Micah with his little booty squinched down. Yeah, he's living his best life. He doesn't care. So, all right. Do we
Shelby's
want to
so
get into
lucky.
topics? Do
Yeah,
we
let's
want to
do it.
talk about before because since it's not on my list, but that thing that I sent you about Alyssa Milano yesterday? Did you read that?
I did read it. You know what? Okay, so it's not her. Okay, so you want to tell? I did read it. Tell everybody
Okay,
about what it
so
is.
people are blasting Alyssa Milano because she basically sent out a GoFundMe for her son's little league because for a trip to Cooperstown. If you guys don't know what that is, like if your kid plays little league, when you're going to Cooperstown, that means your kid's going to the Little League World Series. And so it's not only like that your kid has to go and like you have to pay for a hotel and you have to pay for travel for your kid, but the kids also they have dorms for these little leaguers to stay in as well. And so she is, and yeah, the title is very much like Alyssa Milano gets like drugged by the internet basically because she's rich, sending this out asking people to like donate to her kid to when she could probably very well easily afford it. Yeah. But then you read the article and it talks about she's like, no, I like buy their uniforms. I have paid dues for because you have to pay for your little league charter. Like that's why you have to pay. Like, first of all, kids aren't the little league charter. If you have people that sign up to play little league and they can't afford to pay, you can't make them pay. Like you can't go, you can't play until you
Mm-hmm.
pay. Like you have to first off, because that's how it reads, because we were on the board, so I know this firsthand. You have to let them play. Like you can't.
Mm-hmm.
So that's detracting from um which I think her buying their uniforms is kind of weird to me because I know like our league provided it. I don't know what her league does, but she paid for other kids that they didn't have their dues. She paid their dues. So that way the league was still made whole. She's paid for
Mm-hmm.
snacks, she's paid for parties, she's paid for trips and all this shit. So it's not out of like the question for her to go, yeah, I've already fucking paid all this shit. Like, let me see
Mm-hmm.
and use my platform to see if I can. But it is very, very tone deaf to ask people when you're a rich person
Yeah.
to ask
Well,
people.
Alyssa Milano, I mean, she's not like she does. I'm sure she does fine.
Yeah.
Obviously everybody still knows who she is, and she's able to do all of this for these kids that may need a little bit of help. Um, but it's not like she is doing big movies and has
Hmm.
TV shows and all of that. So it's not her job. Just because she's Alyssa
Yeah.
Milano, it's not her job to foot the bill for other kids. Now, it sounds to me like she has really gone above and beyond with everything that
Yeah.
she's listed that she does. I'm curious, is this something that like she put out on like her Facebook and then
Yes.
like
Her Instagram and
because
her Twitter.
okay,
She
so
posted
that
it. Yeah.
would be like maybe I'll put this out and all of my, celebrity and Hollywood friends will see it and maybe they'll
Yeah.
donate, And so
Yeah.
unfortunately, it had the opposite effect, and she's getting blowback from it now. But it sounds to me like she's done more
Yeah.
than the bare minimum, which we all could probably take a note from.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not her job to pay for everything. And I think that if she's just putting the word out there, and this was blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
That was my opinion on it.
But my looking at it too is that so Little League goes by where your kid goes to school. They don't go by like they go by kind of where you live, where your kid goes to school, and you have to be zoned for like that Little League district, whatever. So
Okay.
she's probably not like in a struggling financially district. So this
Probably
also
not.
means that these parents that can probably well afford to pay and help pitch in are not doing their piece, probably because they have a BC list celebrity's child on their team. Or they're
Mm-hmm.
just fucking cheap motherfuckers. And I mean, it's not like we're talking about stuff for kids. We're not talking about the Rock and Oprah of it all for Hawaii, where they could,
Yeah.
if you're really where they were not, at least not forward facing of what they were giving to these causes for Hawaii. Because if you live under a fucking rock, Hawaii was like on fucking fire, basically. The entire island. Everybody lost shit, all of that stuff. Oprah's fucking swiping up property left and fucking right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oprah's been in the news a lot lately. Like, a
Yeah.
lot.
I think we're gonna see
The
like a
Cat
big
Williams
fall from
stuff.
grace. Yeah.
I think so too. Like the Cat Williams stuff and the Taraji P. Henson stuff. It's just like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Chickens
think
is coming
Oprah
home to
forgets.
roost.
She forgets where she came from. That's what it is.
Yeah.
She's forgetting where she came from. In all honesty, she
Yeah.
doesn't remember what it was like being like a person of color in the early 80s trying to come up. Like she got hella
Yeah.
lucky, and I don't feel like she's a
Yeah.
supporter of people doing the same thing. So
Uh,
just honestly taking
oh.
like a deep anxiety breath. That's just me trying to clear like the anxiety out. And they're like, "What's wrong?
Yeah.
You
Oh,
okay?" And I'm like,
yeah.
"I'm
Like,
just
fucking
I'm
nothing.
cleaning the pipes. I'm just
Yeah.
cleaning the pipes, guys. Like sometimes you just gotta get that like
I'm going to use that
out, and then you're
because
done."
Eric always, what? Is she
Yeah,
getting
and you're like,
mouthy?
"Nothing. I'm just." Siri was like, I couldn't find that on the web. Like nobody asked you, Siri, okay? Now that bitch is telling me to stand up. Like I just stood up. I just fucking stood up, Siri. Get
Siri,
off
you
my back.
can't sit with us.
God, bitch.
So we just got
Nowadays it's
our
over on a
whole
fucking
our whole dinner essentially refunded.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Did you
So
get your drinks or no?
no, he's gone off to go and get because okay, so all of the food that we got was wrong and it was cold and they just didn't bring us any of our drinks and V's meal. Like V got like a 10-piece nugget, didn't get that. So um yeah, so he's just like, just do that, get the refund. I'm gonna go get them some food, and I'm just sitting here like on like the hold on. I'm in like the customer service chat, just like rage eating cold McDonald's French fries, just like
Oh, that's shitty.
yeah. I was just like they're cold and they're hard, but it's like I don't even fucking care.
Because
I
they're
paid for
McDonald's
them
French fries and they make you feel better eventually. So
eventually.
that's what
Yeah,
that is. Yeah.
yeah.
Until you puke them up because you had their chocolate milk.
Well, I don't get
We're gonna
chocolate milk,
we'll
so.
throw back. Yeah. I haven't had chocolate milk in forever, ever, ever. I feel like it's been a long time since I've had chocolate milk. I know Kevin used to
Mhm.
get, I think it was like Farms Land or something. He would get that chocolate milk occasionally, but I have not had chocolate milk in for fucking ever. That's what happens when you
Every
become an
time I
adult. You
get
don't
it,
drink
we
much.
drink like half of it. Like I'll get like a half gallon and we'll drink half of it, and then the rest of it will just sit in the refrigerator.
Oh no, my children who drink chocolate milk every day because I get the Nesquik or the Carnation Instant Breakfast
Mm-hmm.
because given Micah's diet and that's like the only way that I'm going to get vitamins in him. Um if we get like that kind of chocolate milk, they act like they've never had chocolate milk before. And it's usually gone within like an hour if we're lucky. Like I'll get like a little bit of it and I'm like, what the fuck, motherfuckers? Like Whitney ate all the goddamn cookies yesterday that I bought. I was like, you son of a bitch. And I
Did you
can't
top
say
rail
that because
that
I'm the
ass?
bitch. No, I didn't. I should have. I
You
really
should
fucking should
have.
have. Yeah. Because we have figured out, so it's Girl Scout cookies season. And
Yes,
I
it
know,
is.
look, I love my friends' children who are Girl Scouts and I love them like they're
But
my own. I'm not paying fucking $6 for 12 cookies. Especially when we have figured out Walmart has like the peanut butter patty ones and Thin Mints for less than $3. Light
Yep.
pack, all you want. I'm not paying, and it's I'm not doing it. Sorry.
Dollar Tree has got a knockoff version of they're called, when I was selling Girl Scout cookies, they were called Caramel Delights, but now they're called Samoas. And
Yeah.
so Dollar Tree has a knockoff version of the Caramel Delight / Samoas that I mean, they're a little cardboardy, but for $1.25, I can pretend.
Walmart has those too. They're like $2.37.
Mm-hmm.
So follow us for more fat girl life hacks.
Yeah.
That's what
We'll
that
tell you where
is.
to get the cheap
The
knockoff
cheap
Girl Scout
shitty
cookies.
food.
These are
And
hard
then
hitting real life issues, people.
yeah. I feel like we're changing lives. You never know. There's some girl that she's probably raging on her fucking period. And she's probably like, oh,
It's me. Hi.
I don't have soul to pay for fucking, and then maybe the Samoas, or maybe that's her favorite one. And she's like,
Mhm.
bet I'm going to fucking Dollar Tree. So you just probably saved some man's life.
And Girl Scout cookies. They Girl Scout cookie time comes but once a year, so
And Walmart is there 24/7,
yeah,
guys. Actually, no,
365.
we don't have 24/7 Walmarts. Our Walmart
Not
closes
anymore.
at like 11.
Ours does
Mm-hmm.
too, and we live in a big city. I don't
And
think,
look, COVID did
how
that
do
to
you
us.
feel about that? Yeah, how do you feel about that though? Because I think that there should be some things that are 24 hours. Like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
think necessarily that the grocery store needs to be 24 hours, but I could
I do.
see.
I do. If you need, okay, look, here's my case. If you need Pedialyte for your kid,
Mm-hmm.
that's the wholesome one. Or if you have a journey like me and you need to know at 3 o'clock in the morning if you're
If
pregnant
you're
because you're drunk
pregnant,
and you don't know.
going and like sheepishly
Oh,
putting down
or
your pregnancy test and then putting down a pack of condoms.
yeah. Yeah. What if that's my other one? What if you need condoms and you don't have gas station condom money?
Yeah,
Because
gas station
gas
condoms
station
are
condoms are
expensive.
expensive. They're expensive. I'm sorry. And what
Well,
happened? I mean, you could go to like well, no, because I don't know, because I haven't been in a men's bathroom doing nefarious things in almost 20 years. Do they still have condom machines? I need to ask Kevin, but Witten's out there,
I was
if
about
they
to
have
say, you're
condom.
asking me?
Eric, do
So,
they have
but I
condom
think
machines in men's bathrooms? Eric,
he's fetching the
oh,
food.
the one time I needed him.
I know.
Oh,
I know.
way to let me down, bro.
So you have a very
Okay,
valid point because,
I'm texting
like
Kevin.
there are things that you could need in the middle of the night. Your kid could wake up sick and you need to go get, cough medicine or Pedialyte, or you may need to know at 3 in the morning if you're pregnant or not, or, if you have COVID. So I think that like
Yeah,
things like Walgreens and CVS, where you can get that kind of stuff, I think 24 hours, that's appropriate. Jack in the Box and IHOP, I mean, you guys never let us down. Whataburger too,
thank
you're
you.
always
Thank
open.
you.
You know
Our
that the
McDonald's
shit's
is
really
open.
bad. 24
Raleigh
hours.
McDonald's is 24 hours. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
I know
don't
they
know,
were
I
talking
guess.
about doing away with that overnight shift, but they didn't because her coworker was complaining. Well, what am I supposed to do when I need chicky nugs at 3 in the morning? And I'm like, you know what, Nova? You have a point.
That's a
So you need
point.
to talk to your management. Yeah.
I suppose you could just make sure you've got like a bag of frozen nugs, but
It's not, that shit does not hit the same.
yeah, you're right.
It
It's like
doesn't,
ice cream from the ice cream man. The stuff at home is just not the same.
Kevin says none of the places that we go have condoms in the men's bathroom. And that just
Well, it's
shows
good to
how
see
boring we
that
are.
Derby, Kansas is doing their part to boost the
So, yeah.
population.
YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, we're putting this on you. Are there still condom machines where you live in the men's bathroom? I need to know.
Yeah,
I just
I'm
do.
curious.
I know that for my graduation, when I graduated high school, my friend Susie, she gave me a card and she said there was a condom in it, like a ribbed condom. And she was like, yeah, we were just, Anthony, her boyfriend at the time, was in the bathroom and he saw the condom machine and knew that I probably needed it. So they just got me a condom for my
How
graduation from a
funny.
gas station. But that
You
was also
probably
like
did need
2000.
it, and you probably didn't use
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
Like I don't even know. Like can't even tell you the last time I saw. Like, shut up. I can't even tell you the last time I.
He's trying to tell you if there's condoms in men's bathrooms. That's all. He's like, Daddy's
Are
not
there
here, but I'll
condoms
take
in
care of
men's?
it.
What the fuck would you know? You're like a year and a day. You don't know nothing,
Like,
and
you don't know my life?
you don't. All you've got is a pickle. You don't have any cherries. So what
He's like,
do
I have
you know about
a
life?
red rocket. You leave him and his red rocket alone. All right.
So,
See,
I don't
he
even
even
remember the
says you don't
last
know my
time.
life.
I don't know your life. You follow me around like some kind of lost puppy.
You know what he'd be
Freaking
doing during the
dumpster dog.
day when nobody's home with that red rocket of his.
It's just.
He's like, I've seen strays. I know what's up. Sometimes,
I can't
you would
even
hate strays
remember.
because that's Will Ferrell. It's a
I
good
don't
time
like
though.
Will. Nope, don't like Will
Mm.
Ferrell. I don't know even the last time that I saw like a tampon or a pad dispenser in a women's restroom, except for when
Oh.
the last time that I went to, I flew into Love Field. They had dispensers and they were free.
Hmm.
So I stocked up.
Think I don't blame you. I'm trying to think if the mall here has them. I don't think the mall here has tampon or pad machines. I know that my old office in Houston, they had a tampon or a pad machine, but that shit was always empty. So interesting.
Who
I'll have
knows?
to we'll put it out there for social media. Do you guys have these condom machines or tampon pad machines in your bathrooms where you go? Whether it be your office or your local Walmart. I only go to Walmart to poop, and I usually just don't pay attention. Usually, I shit and get.
I'm so glad you shared that with me.
You're welcome. Do you get I've seen it's a whole thing. Do you get it's a whole phenomenon when you go to a store or whatever? There's something about me that the minute I may not poop at home for 2 weeks, but the minute I go somewhere where there's overhead fluorescent lights, I'm like, oh, yep, it's time to go. Do you get that ever?
Nope, you froze and
it's freezing again.
I wish I knew how to take a screenshot of because you said overhead fluorescent light and you go, oh, and then you just stuck.
It's because I saw where it was frozen, and you have to did you get the fluorescent shits? You should see how you're frozen right now because that's exactly how damaged
I don't
you're
get
going.
the fluorescent shits.
No,
I don't get the fluorescent light shits. I mean,
see on TikTok. Anytime I go to Target, anytime I go to Walmart,
every day, and I try to. That's how I stay regular. I just take my little correct all every day. Mm-hmm.
I take fiber, and I'm still just a whole colonostic mess. It's just
we should start taking probiotics. We should start doing what Kathy Lee, or not Kathy Lee Gifford, Jamie Lee Curtis, that one.
The activity. I take probiotics. I take all of that stuff because since I have my gallbladder out, Yeah, it's just
Oh.
not that I'm not normally like a disaster, but now I'm just like a colon disaster now that I've had my gallbladder out.
Oh, that's wonderful for you.
Yeah, you love that for me.
So what
What
else are we? So
else are we
Alyssa
talking about?
Milano, what else are we talking
Netflix.
about?
Okay. Did you watch the? Okay, so remember I texted you and I told you watch American Nightmare, the documentary on Netflix, and
Mm-hmm.
I told you what a mind fuck that was. So if you guys haven't watched the American Nightmare, it's the story of Denise Haskins and her husband, and
Are they
basically,
married now? Did they get
yeah,
married?
they're married and they have a kid.
Okay.
You didn't watch the whole
Oh,
thing, huh?
yes, I did. I watched all of it.
Then they talk
There
about it
were
at the end where they got married. Like all three
oh,
episodes.
I watched all 3 episodes.
You
Maybe
need
I
to
just
stream
missed that
that.
part.
You've had a traumatic week, so we'll
I have.
excuse it.
I
And I
have.
did tell you 2 weeks ago to watch it, and you have more shit going on than me, so of course I remember. So Denise Haskins, so she gets abducted, and basically it's a story where it's her freaking Matt, I think is his name, and he is telling the story from his perspective of how they started, where there's a bright light and there's lasers, and they think that there's more than one person, and they tie him up and they put a camera up and they say don't move or whatever, and they kidnap her. And the police do not take this seriously. They, of course, which we see time and again in true crime, where it's always, almost always a partner. They're like, you made it up, like you killed her, you did something to her body, and they're not even truly like looking into it,
Oh yeah. They're
really.
making up
And
shit. They're just saying
yeah,
anything they can to beat this guy down to get a confession,
yep,
a fake confession out of him.
yep. And they're not
Yeah.
truly. Well, it turns out she really was abducted.
Mm-hmm.
And they had knowledge of the guy that abducted her. If they had pinged her phone, they would have been able to find her because he was like warning, like trigger warning, that he sexually assaulted her multiple times. You know, he
Mm-hmm.
kidnapped her. He had her for like 2 or 3 days, and then he dropped her off by her father's house, which was like, I think he went to South Lake Tahoe. I think he was like her dad was like in Bakersfield or Santa Barbara. It was like several hours. It was like hundreds of miles from where she started, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a video, and she's not cooperating with the police because basically the police, the minute they go, we don't believe you, and if you tell us now,
Mm-hmm.
we can try to offer some sort. So like this whole mindfuck of a story is
Mm-hmm.
just the police not believing a woman, which we see time and time and time again.
Victim
Of
blaming, yeah.
yes, and I what for me sucked was like, well, shit, like she has all of this trauma that she's going to go through, and it wasn't just the local police. That's the rub of it all. It was the
Mm-hmm.
FBI, and the
Mm-hmm.
like lead investigator for the FBI used to date her now husband's ex-girlfriend,
Who was
which and there's
originally the target of the kidnapping.
allegedly the original target of the kidnapping. I don't know where that came from, but it was this one guy that he was only arrested because he tried to do it again. He tried to kidnap
Mm-hmm.
another girl, and they actually happened to get like a license plate, or no, that he dropped his cell phone like a fucking idiot in the house. Like he left his cell phone in the house, and that's how they traced him. Like if he
Mm-hmm.
hadn't left his cell phone, they probably wouldn't able to find him. But it was like if the cops had just done their due diligence on this guy, they would have found him.
Mm-hmm.
And then they started going into stories. There's so many women that they talk to these women about how the police, like they go to report their sexual assaults, and the police are like, oh, and it's that whole like victim blaming, like you said, which that was what stuck for me, was like just the fucking audacity of these men. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what really stuck out for me was I kept going back to the ex-girlfriend because like they told Denise that this was not supposed to be for you. This is for, I think her name was Andrea.
Yeah.
And like she had just had some kind of a confrontation with her boyfriend about Andrea because it was really dramatic to begin with because they all worked at the same place. So there was
Yeah.
already like, I'm sure there were looks and, little comments back and forth. So there's probably already like a level of animosity there. But then to find out that she had caught her boyfriend talking to and expressing to his ex-girlfriend that he wanted to work things out with her.
Yeah.
And now she's being kidnapped, and her kidnapper has told her that this was not supposed to be for you, this was for Andrea. And then to find out that Andrea also dated the FBI agent that was working the case. And then once we find that out, they never mention her again.
No.
I
Never.
want to. I'm like, there's something to this. There's something to that. So it's just like, and what really upset me the most was all of the women that, because it seemed like the kidnapper was, because he was former military. He was a
Mhm.
Harvard graduate, a practicing
Mhm.
lawyer,
Yeah.
and he had, it seemed to me that he was battling some sort of a compulsion, a sexual compulsion,
Mhm.
obviously, because his crimes were escalating. Because they started
Yeah.
off as like peeping toms, just like looking in windows, and then it escalated to home invasions. And because there was that
Yep.
one girl that said that she had broken into her house, and he said that he was going to SA her, but then he didn't. And then it was
Yeah.
just like, it was almost like he was battling, like the peeping tom thing wasn't good enough anymore, so he had to take it a step further. And once that wasn't good enough, he was battling with taking the next step, and it just progressed from there and there. But if
And
they had,
imagine
yeah,
caught him. Yeah.
yeah, if
How
they
much
had
worse it would have
investigated
gotten.
Toms, you know. And the other thing was when the police were talking to the victims about how, oh, well, you know, it's your word against his, and we don't really have
Mhm.
any evidence. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, I've had that
And they
conversation.
knew about
Yeah.
this guy from the peeping Tom stuff. And the what led him to being arrested was, it wasn't even the same jurisdiction. It was another city, another family, and it was another officer whose name was Missy. Just gonna throw that out
It
there.
was. I noticed
Um,
that.
yeah. That she was the one, because we see often in true crime where departments don't speak to each other, you know, they don't share. And she was actually just lucky enough to kind of inquire and call somebody, call the guy who, the Mustang, so he had a stolen Mustang that he used to kidnap her, called that. And he was like, you haven't heard of like this, I forget what city it's called, but it's like the something something creeper. And that is what turned her on. And that's how they even linked this guy who did this attempted abduction to the Denise Haskins case to begin with. And it's just, it boggles the mind. I watch true crime all the time. You know that about me, where I'm constantly listening to podcasts or something. And I deep dove into this case because I am literally a loser. And they had found drone footage where he was watching Denise and her boyfriend in their yard and everything, and recording them.
The last thing I heard was you go on like a, you deep dove on something.
So he had video on his computer where he'd used a drone, and he was recording Denise and her dude in their backyard and everything. So Denise was his intended target, obviously. He'd been staking out their house. And that was where he was destined, I guess, in his eyes, probably to go there. So I don't think Andrea was the target, but I think he somehow knew them, maybe knew of her, possibly knew her name or something.
I
I'm
think
so,
she
like you
has
said, I want
a
to know how
bigger
she
part
fit
to play
in.
in this. That's what I want to know, how she fit in. More than just, it's more than a coincidence that she is not only one of the victim's
Yeah.
ex-girlfriend, also the ex-girlfriend of the FBI
Yeah.
agent, and also was mentioned by the kidnapper. So,
That's true.
so,
Yeah, I didn't think about
so
that.
Denise may have been the target, and maybe it was just another mind thing, because he did lie to her. He did, like, told her that there were other people involved, and
He
they're not as
played a
nice.
recording
Yeah.
to make it
Well,
seem
but
like
that's
there
what I
was
mean.
more than one.
He was a master manipulator, and he knew exactly how to, like, make it seem one way, you know, with the goggles, because that
Yeah.
was another thing. She had to keep goggles on. And so it's just, if you haven't seen it, you need to watch it, especially if you're
It's a
really
mind
into,
fuck.
yeah, especially if you're really
Yeah.
into like true crime. If you ever saw the movie Gone Girl, which I was making the Gone Girl association before the end of the first episode, and then when they started talking about it, I was just like, "Yep, bitches be crazy." I
And if you
love
don't
that
know what
movie.
Gone Girl is, it's a book and a movie, Ben Affleck, that basically the wife sets the husband up for murder. And the movie had just come out
Mm-hmm.
literally like the month that Denise Haskins was abducted.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's part of the cops were like, oh, it's the Gone Girl case. That's what she became known as,
Yeah.
the Gone Girl case. She was getting death threats, all of this stuff. People were coming by her house,
Yeah.
getting her
And she
phone number,
really, she
everything.
definitely bore like a very striking resemblance to the
She
actress who
did.
played
Yes.
the main character. And I love that movie. That was actually loosely based on the Scott Peterson, Lacey Peterson story.
We have him to talk about later.
Yes, we do.
So we'll
So, but
talk
yeah,
about him
if you
later.
haven't seen American Nightmare, it's on Netflix. It is absolutely worth it. They're like 48-minute episodes. There's 3 of them. Totally worth the watch.
It goes quick. It goes really, really
It
quick.
does. It goes very quick. It doesn't. There's not a lot of like boring, like dragging it out. Like it's they stick to the story. They get to the meat of the subject, and it sucks
And
you in
it's
very
full
very
of
quickly.
you're like, because I was like, well, what is this about? And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what the fuck? And then I was like, I gotta tell Amie so she could be like, what the fuck too. So
Yeah, I
that's
was like,
kind of
what
where
the
we went
fuck?
on that one.
I said that a lot when I was watching
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. You're like,
Yeah,
holy
yeah.
shit. And you're like, you don't think it's real life? Because I think people have this misguided or hope set in like the justice system. And I was like seeing statistics yesterday where it's like in the US, like 1 out of 3 murderers are caught. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
killed and your killer's not an idiot, you have a 1 in 3 chance
33% chance
of
they'll catch
justice.
him. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, that's our
crazy to me.
justice system
But
at work, folks. Your tax
mhm.
dollars at
And
work.
it's bureaucratic bullshit, and we could go on. And if you've listened to us, one of the Savage Seven, we could if we wanted to, but we're not going to. So,
We're not going to. We have
but
control.
another fucked up system is this is going to be like my thing that I hate. I think. So, have you heard of Kite Baby and what's going on with them?
The only thing I know is that there's a lady that had recently had a baby that wanted to work remotely, and they told her no.
Yeah. So Kite Baby is a children's clothing brand. The founder is Ying Lu, and Marissa Hudgens, she requested to work from home because her baby was born at 22 weeks and was still in the NICU, basically in the neonatal intensive care unit. She has to work from home, and they
Mm-hmm.
fired her because of absences because she had to not only take off time to have her baby early, but your kid's in the fucking hospital. And I don't know what reasonable mother isn't going to go, look, like, I need to be with my kid, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so in all reality, though, she didn't have her kid. It was the child that they were adopting. And I know
Mm-hmm.
sometimes not that it makes it right, but corporations are a little bit different. So she didn't take it. He was born at 22 weeks in El Paso. So she is in Dallas. And
Okay.
it's her and her husband. So Judah Al Havens Hughes in late December after getting her call. Judah was located 9 hours away in El Paso. So this is a company in Dallas, baby born in El Paso, born at 22 weeks of Wade Bailey, blah, 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 weighed barely a pound. So yeah, she's in a lot of companies, maybe not this one because maybe it's a smaller company, and I don't know like how familiar you are with like FMLA, which is the Family Medical Leave Act.
That was going to be my question.
You have to have like over a certain number of employees for you to have to like comply with the family. Like my company before, we had under 50 employees. So FMLA, we didn't have that option. Most companies in America, they don't offer full, like Bank of America is like one of the few companies that I've seen that they offer their short-term disability, which is basically what it is 100% pay. And you get your full
Okay.
12 weeks for maternity leave. Like they do it for the dads too. Because I had a coworker that
Well, that's
both she and
good.
her husband worked both, and you can do it yearly. So like when I had Witten, I had a full 3 months off so that way I could stay home with him after he was born and everything. And I even did it during the holidays, so that way, like my one planned kid out of 3, we did it during the holidays, so that way I could like literally be off the entire holiday season. But when I worked at First American, I had large enough company that I could have taken the 12 weeks, but it was at 40% pay was all my short-term disability was. And I don't know
Mm.
anybody in America that's of where
Live
we
on
are
less than half.
financially. Yeah. So I only took 4 weeks with Micah because that's all we could afford. Actually, I think I only took
That's so
3 weeks with
sad.
Micah because that's all we could afford. Yeah. So, but
That's
it's
so
the same
sad.
thing as so she had to GoFundMe, this Mercy who she started a GoFundMe and she got 40,000, but um she was fired by her company, which the company has since issued an apology, basically. And well, it says in this article that the New York Post put out that she hadn't even see most companies too, you have to be at the company a year before you even qualify for FMLA. So say you get hired and 3 months in you get pregnant. Then right
Mm-hmm.
at your year, if you're 2 or 3 days before your year, and that's not even counting your like usual 90-day trial period or whatever,
Yeah,
they
your
don't count that
probationary
towards your
period.
tenure. So,
No, not at all.
but I mean, yeah,
That's
it's
so
just, it goes
sad.
to just the broken system that we have. I know that her sister posted a video on TikTok and has since deleted it, that there was another employee who was offered leave and was even invited to the company's warehouse to pick out products, but this company was not. So it seems like we don't know there's always two sides of the story. There's their side, her side, and then like there's the truth. So we don't
Mm-hmm.
know just with stuff like that coming out, like what, but the company has come out and like the founder, she's apologized. But I just thought like the irony of like, you are a baby product company
Yeah.
and you're not willing to accommodate your employee because their
Yeah.
employers, they can go, yeah, she hasn't been here a year, but I'm going to approve her FMLA anyways, because that is an internal, it's not even like something that's garnered by the government. Like that's an internal like HR decision whether or not you get your FMLA approved period anyways.
The last thing I heard you say was that you were just talking about how if they could have approved her FMLA because it's
Yeah.
like an internal thing, and it's so sad. Like, and the fact that it is a baby, product company. I mean, like, like you said, that's just the sheer irony in all of it. But it's like it's almost as if these like the man, or the empire as we call it, is like trying to encourage us to just not have kids. Like, okay, you won't
Yeah.
be able to stay home and enjoy it. I wasn't able
No.
to with Steven. Or rather with V. Because it was like, okay, well, you get 6 weeks. It's not paid.
Yeah. Yeah.
So go have a
Go suck
baby,
them
have
up.
a
Yeah.
C-section, come back when you're not even fully healed, and yeah, good luck. So how are you supposed to enjoy being a parent, and
You're
that whole
not.
like nesting period? Trust me, I don't.
Corporate America is not even like just, I guess, commerce in general, capitalism, it's not made for women. We have this
Hmm.
antiquated system that was developed when the men were the breadwinners and women stayed home. That is not the reality of our economy anymore. We can't,
Hmm.
I can, let me tell you, there's more both parents working than there's, stay-at-home moms or stay-at-home
Oh,
dads
for
because we
sure.
see that. I was even reading an article on HuffPost today for a lady in Dallas that she's, which is ironic. You're probably gonna giggle, but they're like, her husband's a stay-at-home dad, and she's like, we live in Dallas off 90 grand a year, and it is a stretch and it is a struggle. And she works in
Hmm.
alcohol sales, so she's doing very well for alcohol
Hmm.
sales, going to bars in DFW, making 90K a year. Let's just caveat that. I was like, okay, you can't, but like she probably could if they moved to like GP or like dunk, like
Yeah,
girl, like let's downsize a little
they
bit, you know?
yeah, they could go out to
Yeah,
Mesquite.
ma'am, ma'am, you need to take your champagne taste down a little bit.
Yeah,
But
you can't
it's
afford
still a
McKinney
fact.
Avenue, my love.
And then she was talking about how they're putting their almost like, I guess her oldest is like 2.5, 3, and they're putting it like on a Mother's Day. And she was like, and even that is like $200 a month, and it's like half
Hmm.
of a day twice a week. And you think about how astronomical daycare is. We always did home daycare because we could never afford a daycare center ever,
Yeah.
and we would find, I would have to find the cheapest home daycares that I
Yep.
could find. Like, and we got really lucky. Like, we had one home daycare that she charged just $165 a week for both kids when it was just
Oh,
Rylan and
wow.
Witten. And I'm talking like the girl was making like, and she had the kids from like 6:30 to 6:30. So yes, I was grossly taking advantage of her, where she was making like a buck 25 an hour, but she was willing to do it for me because that is all we could afford, because we couldn't afford for me to not work. We couldn't afford for Kevin
Yeah.
to not work. We tried that and we lost our house in foreclosure, you know? And it's
Yeah.
one that's just, that's my thing that I hate. I hate that how the system is set up for us to fail as
Mm-hmm.
parents, as women, and just in general. Like, it's just set up for us to fail and nobody wants to fucking fix it. That's the bullshit of it all.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to pay
Yeah.
teachers more. Nobody wants to pay daycare, because daycare workers make like 10 fucking $12 an hour. I'm
I
paying
know.
you, if I can afford it, if I could, I'm paying you the same for my newborn. $2,000 a month. Because most daycares, it's your mortgage, right? $2,500 a month. You're paying your
Mm-hmm.
worker fucking $12 an hour. And I'm
Yeah.
paying you $2,000 a month. Where is the just like, what the fuck? The absolute fuck.
And I'm sorry, but people that take care of, granted, kids are different when they're under the care of other people than when they're with us.
Yeah.
And it can be good or bad. Like, I was always very well behaved. I mean, don't listen to the hype. I was well behaved. I just, when you get home and you get kicked around a little bit, not, figuratively, you start to kick back. And so when you're at
Yeah.
daycare and everybody's being nice to you, you're gonna be nice
Yeah.
back. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very fortunate with the kids after I became a single mom that I was able to get on CCMS, which, if
Yeah.
you don't know what that is, it's a subsidized, government subsidized daycare. It's difficult to get on. There's so many hoops you have to jump through to get on it. But my daycare cost was more than my rent before I got
Yeah.
CCMS. So, they were very fortunate that they were in a really good daycare thanks to the CCMS, but I would have I had to do the same thing.
Yeah.
How in-home daycare, and there's no regulation, it's and whatever happens, unfortunately. And so I'm glad that I was able to get him into a real daycare, but it's criminal the amount of
Yeah.
money that they charge for daycare, because it's one of those things that they can basically charge you whatever they want and you can't argue, and it sucks. It
Oh,
does feel like the system is set up for us to fail.